You may be seated, and our young people are going to tell us the gospel again right now. And as you hear them and you think about what you have just heard read, you'll remember that there are two stories in this gospel, that the middle story about the woman who had the hemorrhage being healed is healed. That happens in the middle of the story about Jairus' daughter. Jairus comes to Jesus. The woman touches his hem of his garment. The child dies, and Jesus goes with Jairus to his house and raises that child from the dead. You'll note that the child is 12 years old. The woman has had a hemorrhage for 12 years. There are a lot of things to pay attention to in this story. And our young people are going to... So I need narrator, that's you, and I need Jesus up here. Okay. And then are the rest of them going to be like right here? Here, have them across the middle, or even up here if you want. Okay. All right, you all are going to need to come over here. Yeah, come on over. And here's the other microphone.
All right, we're flying by the seat of our pants today, so I give everybody a little grace. I'll be the parts that we don't have, so we'll be kind of just reading. We're not going to act them out. Okay. So can we start with the narrator?
Yeah, could you move over a little bit here? Come on, that's good. Okay, you have two microphones so that you can share them if you want.
The crowd gathered round.
They're sure packed in tightly.
But Jesus addressed the great throng most politely.
In my Father's house there are many nice rooms. I'll go prepare a place for you soon.
But then came a man who was sadder and blue. He dropped to his knees.
What's the matter with you?
Jarius?
Dear Jesus, I need your help. My name is Jarius. My daughter is dying. Must be some kind of virus. She's only 12, and I know on your way, if you put your hands on her, she'd be okay. I have faith in you, Jesus. I know you can give healing to her so that she can still live.
Bring me to the girl. I'll give her assistance.
Follow me this way. My home is some distance.
So Jesus and Jarius traveled along, but they weren't alone because along came the throng.
Okay. Let's go and see this, what Jesus might do. I've never known anyone like him, have you? He eases men's souls when things look the bleakest. He speaks to the heart.
He speaks to the heart. He's so wise.
The uniquest.
He tells people they should love their enemies. He makes the blind see and cures men from disease.
Who is this man who can make us all rave thus? Who's my crowd member 6? Okay.
They say he's the... Hold on. They say he's God's son who came down to save us. God's son, I believe it. He's more than a man. Let's move in close as we can.
So they bunched around Jesus as he walked along and traveled together in one crowded glom.
It takes coordination to follow this closely.
No offense gained, but this walk is too cozy.
The disciples, they tried hard to spread the group out so that there'd be room just to breathe in and out.
If there's a solution, is tripping. That's it. We see your idea, and it's not a bad one, but that wouldn't benefit us in the long run.
We've come to see next what Jesus will do. If we lag behind, then we'll lose our good view. So we're gonna stay just as close as we can. We don't want to miss any miracles, man.
They continued like this for a while or more without any notion of what was in store. Nobody noticed when they were all loud that a woman had just joined the tightly squished crowd. She was another sad person of tears, with an illness that plagued her for 12 long years. On bewildered doctors, she emptied her purse, but they didn't help her. In fact, she got worse.
I heard that Jesus was passing this way, so I came to see him on this very day. I know if I touch a small part of his clothing, that I will be healed and freed from my suffering.
So she snuck up behind him and reached out her hand, and just touched the clothes of the most holy man. As soon as she did, she felt a great change, for she was relieved of her suffering and pain. Then suddenly, Jesus spoke up.
Who just touched me? I had this feeling of power go from me.
Lord, how can you ask who touched you just now when all of these people are crowded around? Surely you've been touched almost constantly by all of the people gathered you see.
This was no bump, no nudge or a tap, no graze or collision or something like that. This was no accident. It wasn't worthless. This touch had faith, and it was on purpose.
Jesus kept looking at all who were near. The woman, now healed, began trembling with fear. She knew what had happened. She knew she was better. And so she fell down at the feet of the Savior. She told the whole truth.
Jesus, I am the one. I didn't mean any harm to be done. For 12 years, I dealt with this sickness, this plight. I didn't think bothering you would be right. I knew if I touched you that'd do the trick. Sure enough, here I am, no longer sick.
Daughter, your faith has made you well today. Peace be with you as you go your way.
While he was still speaking, there came a report with new news from Jarius, but not the good sort.
Jarius, we're sorry came to you moping. Your daughter has died. There's no use in hoping. Best to leave Jesus alone now and come. He can't help her now. Death cannot be undone.
Mortified, Jarius had started to grieve, but Jesus said,
Don't be afraid, just believe.
Jesus continued toward Jairus' home, but he didn't let the whole crowded group come. He handpicked a few of his closest disciples, and they came along because they were insightful. The tightly packed, crowded, squished group had all gone, but Jarius and Jesus and friends still pressed on. When they got close, there was just no mistaking which house was the house of their destination. There was weeping and wailing, and all of them cried. That's just what they did when they heard someone died.
Sobs.
It's just so loud in here. It makes my heart race.
I just about can't stand the noises of this place.
Sorry, guys.
I just about can't stand the noise of. Oh. You wouldn't wail too if you had any manners. Show some respect. It's the volume that matters. Grieving is more than high volume level. How about soft music or candlelight bagel? Look, we're the pros and we know how to do it. When somebody dies, we help folks get through it.
Well, I can appreciate.
One second, dear. Jarius, we're sorry. Your daughter's not here.
What's all the commotion? Why all this wailing?
Haven't you heard that his daughter was failing? And now she's dead. That's why we weep.
She isn't dead. She's just fallen asleep.
Fallen asleep? How would you know? Her heart stopped beating an hour ago. The doctors were here, and now they're all gone. They all said she died, every last one. Fallen asleep? Come on, give me a break. We heard some bold claims, but yours take the cake.
They chuckled, they jeered, they laughed, and they mocked.
The next thing he'll say is she'll wake up and walk.
Are you ready, Jarius, for what I must do?
Jesus, my wife and I have faith in you.
Then let us go into the house to see her.
Jesus went to the child, took her hand, and said,
Talika kahum,
which means,
little girl, I say to you, get up.
immediately the girl stood up and began to walk around. Everyone was completely amazed.
Did you see what I saw? Never doubted him for a minute.
All of you, tell no one of this, and Jarius, give her something to eat.
The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Good job. Bumps.
You had a chance to hear it twice, once in rhyme with a bunch of voices and once just straight. And I hope you had an opportunity to think about these two stories and how they connect. And let's thank our young people again.